Alright, trying now. So start. Okay.
I am writing this under an
Let me know if
appreciable
it's too
mental
loud.
strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
I'm bringing it down just a little bit. Let me know if it's too low now. Okay, so buttons to press.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Okay.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess,
So does
though
that mean
never
we need to
fully
read the
realize,
pages?
why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death. It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Okay. So far it's a story thing. We're clicking on buttons.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Okay. So we're just clicking on stuff so far. Apparently I just got an achievement unlocked as the Seeker. Oh, was I supposed to read that? Oh, crap, I didn't read it.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone, in a small boat, with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Alright, so we got out with the boat. Got it. And there's something here.
When I finally found myself adrift and free,
Okay, we got an
I had
achievement.
but little idea of my surroundings.
Oops, I pressed a button. Never a navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars.
Of the
Okay.
longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Okay. There's that over there. Nothing else. Nothing up above, so let's click on it.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Okay, so we drink water maybe?
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Okay. We need a volleyball, and we need to name it Wilson.
The change happened whilst I slept.
The change. What change? What type of change? Are we a werewolf? Arr! No?
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
What was continuous? What the heck? Okay.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Okay.
Though one might well imagine
Now this is
that my
also
first
VR,
sensation would be
but I'm
of
not using the
wonder
VR
at
device
so
right now.
prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
Okay.
There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Wait, what's beneath my feet? It's inky? It's marsh? What? What's that? Just kidding. Yeah, you hear all the squishing? Squish, squish,
As I
squish.
crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
What theory is that?
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl
So
to prey upon
this
the
shows
dead
actually
place.
to be more of no, Dragon, we're not making anything go boom. I was looking this up and it looked to be interactive wise, but now that I look at it, I think it's more of a visual novel is what it's saying. So it said horror, Lovecraft and all that stuff, but it actually shows visual novel. So I think we're just reading a book visually.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
So it said here, face unspeakable horrors, succumb to madness, welcome to a free... Oh, I didn't read it all properly. So yeah, it's just a narrative experience. Does this, since it's a game, if I beat this, I mean, if I go play it all the way through, does that count as a completion? I misread it. But I'm enjoying it so far.
As the day progressed,
There's also this in
the
VR.
ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling
Half of a
purposes in
game?
short time.
Hey, no. So we had that one game that was a roller coaster for 5 minutes that we counted as a game. So this has to count, right?
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack
I
containing
don't know.
food
My
and
game is
water,
just sticky.
preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea. and possibly escape.
Don't answer that. Well, no, we were stepping in all that icky stuff in the water that the boats and the fish and stuff got in. Haven't you been listening? So you look around, you explore, you gotta find stuff. You can't really move.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
So now it's dry.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so
Fish
slight
smell,
an
got
evil,
it.
and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Wait, what is the goal? Oh wait, maybe that's why it's unknown. Okay, we look around just in case there's anything else. We see right here. We shall continue. We can't walk anywhere. So continue. Oh, we're walking forward. Squish, squish, squish.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
This is a desert? Deserts aren't supposed to be like mushy like this. Looking around. So you can also do this in VR, but I wasn't gonna hook up the VR today. I think this is made more for VR. Dragon. Yeah, I
That
spent an
night,
hour
I
looking for another game
encamped,
to play
and
after
on the
this. I
following
just couldn't
day
decide
still
on one.
travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Which object? There's nothing else to find here, so we click. Squish, squish, squish.
By the fourth
Ooh, a
evening,
mountain.
I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
They were wild, yeah.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
But I want to sleep more. Can we go back to sleep?
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise
Hey,
I had
Ben,
been
what's
to
up?
travel by day.
It's all the tentacles. That's right. We're losing our mind in this. Ah!
Without the glare of the parching sun,
More squishing.
my journey would
Squish,
have cost me less
squish.
energy.
Squish. Less energy. Cost. Pricey.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
Well, duh. It's cooler outside.
Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Yes, your eminence. Oh, button.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror
Squish,
to me.
squish, squish.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
All right, where's the canyon?
Whose black recesses the moon
We're
had
looking
not
at the
yet
moon.
soared high enough to illumine.
It's not a full moon. It don't count as a moon. I'm just kidding.
I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Oh, y'all. Y'all hear that? We're on the edge of the world. Don't fall. We're on the edge. Whoa! Ah! Ah! Oh, okay. Okay. We're good. We didn't fall. We didn't fall. Whew. Okay. We're good. We didn't fall off the edge of the world. We're good.
Peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
There's something down there.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Wait, we were supposed to find the paradise first before it's lost. Where was our paradise?
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Satan? Oh, I'm home. I'm on the... Oh, I can't sing that on the air.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Perpendicular. Too many syllables for us tonight. I'm just kidding. We have this one button to click on. Should we click anywhere else? I think we click here.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy.
You're not
footholds
supposed to
for
look
descent.
down. What are you doing? Don't look down. Descent. What are you going to do? Fly? You can't fly. You didn't make the wings yet.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
The cliff of what? I guess we're going down. Hey, it's not squishy
Urged
steps
on by an
anymore.
impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
I'm actually liking this so far, but I gotta throw some lines in there just to keep y'all a little entertained.
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
Okay.
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast
Ooh,
and singular
light!
object on the opposite slope, which
Let
rose
it
steeply
shine!
about 100 yards ahead of me.
One second.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Ascending. Oh, wait. Especially with the ascending moon. We need this first. Posture check! We got a freaking posture check here! There's my posture check. So now you can see the dork side, okay? And we get ready to proceed after making sure there's nothing else here. Okay. Squish. We're squishing again now. The one before this wasn't a squish. Now we're squishing. What did we step
I
in?
soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
A Star Dork shirt next time I see.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
We'd have to do a joint stream then, Dragon. As we join the dork side. Okay. Nothing else. We're looking around just in case there's an item.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young.
Enormous, huh?
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Is it now?
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Wait. It worships living and thinking creatures? Not just living? Not just thinking? Wow! I'm just kidding.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Okay, so does that mean we need to look around? It won't let us move anywhere else, so we gotta just click here. We're squishing again. Squish.
The moon, now near
Ooh,
the
some
zenith,
water. Who wants to go
shone
for a
weirdly
swim?
and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Is it like a skull on it? And maybe like a bull with a horn at the bottom? I can't tell. Okay.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions.
Yeah, like we said, let's go
almost
swimming.
lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions
And crude sculptures. I clicked a little too fast. Alright, so again, that is all that we can click on.
the writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown
So
to
it's
me,
hieroglyphics.
and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such
Aquatic
as
symbols?
fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Maybe it's an inventory list of what they've collected already. Or a hit list of what they have to kill first. Just kidding.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
Okay.
but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Contains many themes and storytelling methods developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, journals, character notes, islands emerging, or fictional beings. It's also considered the origin of the popular something mythos. Some of the other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. What is thy ending? Shall we find out?
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
What's a doré? Do we gotta Google some of these words?
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men. Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
Grotto. I feel stupid all of a sudden tonight. I mean, some of these words I know, but I feel like I should have another page on the right to just start Google searching and defining these words.
Or paying homage at some
I think I'm
monolithic
also just
shrine,
half asleep.
which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail,
No detail.
for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the
We're growing
imagination of
faint.
a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips,
Okay, so these like
glassy,
water creatures.
bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Sea creatures killing sea creatures, or sea aliens killing sea aliens.
I remarked,
Or sea
as
creatures.
I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Okay. Again, just the one spot.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
We saw it! What did we see? What did we see? What did we see? We should probably press the button. What do you think we saw? Does anyone know what we saw? Let's click the button and find out.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface.
Is it shaking or is it my mouse shaking?
Waters.
I think it's the screen thing shaking. Slightly churning to mark its rise to the surface.
Christ, Polyphemus
Boom!
and loathsome.
Like that was
Acted
supposed to
like a
scare us.
stupendous monster of nightmares to the mind.
I mean, it was predictable. Okay. If we stand still, it won't chase us. Just stay still. Y'all hear that? Y'all right there? Stay still. While I run for my life! Alright, here we go.
about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
It's getting blurry. Maybe I gotta clean my glasses. Hang on.
Mad then.
Wait, you mean you weren't mad already? You stepped in with like some goo shit thing. You weren't mad about that? Alright.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Wait, what were we doing? Okay. Doesn't let us look that far up and around. So it's just clicking on that. We were checking in case there was any other items.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Here we go. Squish, 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 squish.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Nature's having one of those moods, y'all. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Just kidding. Okay, now what?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Okay.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
So he was hallucinating things, or he was somewhere and no one knows he was there, and now there's no proof. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literally I can't be that day. Literary criticism written by him and other authors. Was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. Yes, this is the Dragon from Discord. Bad. He's a fellow NAG, one of the three streamers of us. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Blah 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 blah. No country. Okay, go back. So there's a lot of side notes in here, is what it is. Some of these documents just tell you about the author and everything from that part, and the different types of stories, and then you go back into the story mode. So there's like little Easter eggs.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Okay. that the only thing we click on? Yes. Worshipped throughout the Middle East of the ancient god of fertility and crops. Common noun for grain. The ruler. So Dagon was a noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in a something poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylon texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. So now we move over to here. We got out of the seat and we're walking over. But
soon perceiving
notice our
that he
feet
was
are not
hopeless
squishing and stuff
conventional,
this time.
I
We
did not
cleaned our
press my
shoes.
inquiries.
Book. Exit. Book. Okay. Although he greatly contributed to the author's work, after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine to the mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's work are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. Let's see here. Now, where do we go? Okay, we take a few more steps. Step, step, step. What are we looking for now? I feel like we're missing something to click on here. I'm clicking around everywhere. Where is it? Alright, here we go. We're walking some more.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has
Really
drawn
now?
me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all.
Why are you
written
gonna
a
end it
full
all?
account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Do we really want to click on that? Or shall we click on this? Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12. In order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend something something, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zilla Brown dated 13th February 1928, as for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to. Having a strong aesthetic digest at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate nature equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence, I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Source, the spirit of revisions. Okay. And now we click on this.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
Wait,
This
did we just
I
get back
ask
on the boat
myself,
again?
but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
I knew there was a monster down there.
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
This almost looks like Godzilla Part 20. There's like, well, there's more than 20. Part 50. There's all 50 of them. That or, what was that called? Was it not World War Z? It was, the one with Tom Cruise in it. War something. Those bots and stuff. I don't remember what it's called. 1 second, y'all. Alright, I'm back, y'all. Sorry.
The end is near.
The end is near. We're squishing again. What the hell?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
It's lumbering against it. Anything to click on? No, not the door. Don't go to the door. Alright, let's go to the door.
Shall not find me.
Of course not. We have a dresser there. That's gonna save us, right? Oops.
God, that hand!
The hand.
The window! The window!
Don't go out the window. No, 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 don't do it. He's saying something. Don't do it. Go back to the door. Alright, let's go. I don't think we were supposed to do that. I think we have finished. You know, I actually did enjoy that. I mean, of course, because I'm making fun of it in some parts. But if you take out all the jokes and everything from that part of what I did, it was a nice little reading thing on it where you got the video and you interact with the book and so forth. So I actually did enjoy that. And now we have completed the game. There's some DLCs and stuff as well. So what do y'all think about that? What did y'all think about that? So I like the interactive movies and so forth. This, it was just more of just clicking and you're watching it. It wasn't really interactive. You couldn't change anything of what did what, but it was telling you a story. And a lot of us don't want to just sit down and read anymore. We want some type of interaction with it. So I do like this version of a book wise where you're seeing the pictures and so forth. Although when you're reading it, you're supposed to be visualizing all these pictures in your head and so forth. This helps you on it from there. So let me know what y'all think about that. If y'all want to see some more of those, I would definitely try to put some more together and so forth. See what else that's out there. Uh, but I was originally looking for an interactive movie to do tonight, but I just couldn't find one without buying it. And I'm not allowed to buy anything for 5 more games now. So what we just did, we just now completed one more game. So we are now at 45 games. That's right, 45. We are adding this one to the list. I'm editing the list right now. So if you click on my about page, you see all the games that we've completed already. There's ones listed for 2022, 1 through 44, now about to be 1 through 45. Those are the games that we've completed. We have 5 more to complete, and then we can buy a new game. Now, so far, y'all want me to buy Elden Rings, so we may get Elden Rings here shortly.